What's up, everybody? Welcome to PLD Projects. I'm your host, PLD, and this is my Holy Snow's compatriot, my friend Matt E. Gunner. How are you doing?
Matthias, Mateo, anything but that freaking name you called me before you started. So behind the scenes note, I made pause to create a whole new recording just because you called me by my actual name. So, but other than that, yeah, I'm doing good, mate. It's busy week. Got UFC London this weekend, which is a big event for me this weekend. I'm not competing, but a very dear friend of mine is, so I'm off my head with that. Added to what we're going to be talking about today, which
well, let's say, I mean, we actually gathered here today. I feel like we're doing a church service. We gathered here today. We were gathered here
Careful,
today.
otherwise I'm going to burst up in the flames if we get too biblical.
Well, we were gathered here today to actually record our Holy Snokes episode, which was going to be our first Holy Snokes episode in a few weeks. We had an illness by me, scheduling by me, all sorts of crap. We were finally going to come back.
Scheduling was me. Illness was you. Scheduling was me.
All sorts of issues here there. So we're going to finally have this be our comeback episode for Holy Snokes. Thus, actually, the link, the underlay we have here. And I'll even show you what we were going to do. We were going to do the Road to Ahsoka. That was going to be our channel today. And that was going to be our show today, which we were going to oversee. But the world is kind of in an ever-changing place at the moment. And as you all probably are aware, if you're in the space watching YouTube about movies and television and everything else, there's a couple of unions on strike, with the WGA on strike, and now even more recently SAG-AFTRA on strike. And it's kind of thrown everything into an uproar. We're going to try to parse through this as best as we can. This is not meant to be an informational video. Obviously, something else says this is channel update. So mainly, we're going to talk about how this is going to affect PLD projects moving forward, at least for the time being. Because quite frankly, neither of us are experts on anything going on. I would suggest, if you want a great video, go visit Dan Merle's YouTube page. Dan Merle did a wonderful video on the breakdown. Another video I watched, which actually more concerns what we're going to talk about, is Greg Alba from the Real Rejects did a great video about breaking down things. The question becomes, obviously now we have the writers have been on strike for 2 months. The actors are now on strike as well. To put it forth an idea, we are not union members. Obviously, we are not SAG members. We are not. I don't think I have any designs on being SAG members ever. So as I'm way too old to do anything now. I'm just kind of like liking my spot here as a content creator.
If George Clooney can still be going in his twilight years, there's hope for PLD yet.
Well, thank you. The comparison to Clooney.
Ed Harris could still be going in his twilight years.
That's true.
There's hope for PLD.
Well, probably not going to happen. I don't have any designs on it. I'm very happy with doing the YouTube content here as it is. However, at the same time, we also want to show solidarity with the actors and writers who are striking at this point, because I think a lot of the people might not understand the general populace. I think our space understands. The general populace basically sees, why are they striking? They're billionaires. Like Tom Cruise makes $20 million a picture. And it's not about them. That's the thing. It's not about them. It's they're striking in solidarity with their brethren who don't get that, who are fighting just to get health insurance. They're fighting to get proper instructions, to get proper safety procedure and everything else. And these contracts haven't been updated for such a long time that, labor in general has kind of reached a boiling point over, of course, all sorts of labor shortages, labor unions, and everything else. So these are very important, especially considering the executives that are fighting them are being very tone deaf and seem to be being very selfish.
That's putting it lightly.
Yeah, I've always been kind of I'm trying to be positive about things, but I can't be positive. I can't be positive about this. They're giving themselves big multi-million-dollar bonuses. They're claiming that everybody else is doing, the writers and the actors are asking for extreme things, and they're not. They're basically asking for a change because the industry has changed, especially with the result of streaming, with the result of the upcoming AI, things of that nature. They're just looking for a way to handle that fairly, so that they can still do their work, providing us with the great entertainment, content, and art that we live by. And it's a shitty situation all around. I don't know much more about the specifics of the strike. Like I said, I pointed you to the Dan Merle video, but it does affect this channel.
Hmm.
Obviously, the problem we have right now is that nobody seems to be 100% sure on what that means, what we can and cannot, or I should say, what we should or should not do. Because quite frankly, especially since we're not union, we can do anything we want to do. We could go on and do anything we want to do.
And we're not like paid.
Right.
We're content creators, but like we're not like the Real Rejects or Heroes Reforged that go into the influencer. God, I hate that word.
Yeah.
The influencer category. Like our good friend Koijandro, like he falls into that category because he works with brands. He works with, and like other friends of ours, like Alex and Molly Overstar was explaining, like they work with different brands and different companies. They promote different products, but it's gotten to a point now where that is seen doing stuff like that, paid promotion. Unless, and I should stress this because a lot of people do have current contracts. We're not one of them. We don't have contracts with studios. We don't have contracts with any brands. But some of those pre-existing contracts, SAG-AFTRA are saying, look, you can complete those contracts. That's absolutely fine.
Right.
But don't pick up anything new. And this is, I guess, my way of saying, if you see your favorite streamer, content creator, influencer creating content promoting a certain studio or a show or a movie,
Struck studio,
bear in mind that that could be a pre-existing deal that they have struck with that brand. A lot of creators will have a brand manager. They will have like they'll be part of an ambassador program. I know I've been part of a couple for stuff like Vocal Zone Pastels and stuff like that. Obviously completely different, but there's a whole different side of things. So if you see these content creators and these YouTubers or whoever posting with affiliate links or for these struck studios, these struck whatever, just bear in mind that they may already have had a pre-existing agreement put in place. So don't attack them.
It's fair to comment and ask and see what they're doing and everything else. I think it's a fair comment to make. I think everybody has the right to know what's going on and who's doing what. I feel like most of the people we're talking about will be glad to explain it. Happy to explain it. It's also kind of a strange situation. I mean, not just those people. Like, I mean, even like we're talking about people like us. Like, we're still like we started recording about an hour ago. Or talking about recording an hour ago. We still weren't exactly sure what we were going to say because we are still moving forward. This is like always in motion is the future, as Yoda would say, and we are still kind of we're working through this muddy waters as we try to figure out things. And different people are going to react in different ways. For example, I know Force Center, our friends at Force Center had a great podcast this morning, and they said that they are not going to be covering Ahsoka until the strike ends. As far as other content on that channel, they're not sure yet. They're still kind of figuring it out. That's kind of the same boat we're in. But then again, I also, like I said, if you go to the Real Rejects video, Greg Alba, who's done a lot of research on it, seems to make very clear points that this kind of stuff, the stuff we would be doing as far as reviewing Ahsoka, would fall into be okay for us to do because we are not union members. We're not promoting. It is more of a journalistic thing, and it's been made very crystal clear to me by many people that boycotting is not the solution right now. They are not asking for a boycott. You should still be going to the movies. You should still be watching these shows. At this point, I mean, you do what you got to do, but I'm just saying what SAG-AFTRA has said. You should still be taking in the media. If you review the media, if you react to the media, you're not doing it in a promotional favor. You're not being paid to do so. You're not being paid to do a positive review, which shouldn't happen anyway. You should never enter into that. My own opinion, you should never do that anyway. You should be okay. And as long as you're not promoting the brand, you're just being critical about what you've ingested, and you're being informational and journalistic as far as critical as far as critics go, then that is okay. So that's what they say. Now I understand why Force Center has decided to do what they're going to do, especially since they are more closer. Like Jennifer Land is a part of SAG. Ken is SAG eligible, I believe it was, and I think Joseph was potentially could be in SAG at some point. So maybe they're going to be a little bit more careful about it. So then it comes to people like us. We don't have a big following. We're not a big YouTube agree with at this point. I love our followers. I love all of our subscribers. We are getting closer to 500, which I'm happy to say. And there might be some more expansion here in the future. I got some. I'll talk about that a little bit. A possible deal coming. Not a brand with a Struck company. I'll tell you that much. Much more minor league than that, but something coming that might be good for the channel. But what do we do? So what do we do? I have decided on a couple of things so far. And if you're watching this video, this is going up on July 18th. This could change tomorrow. And this could, like I said, is an ever fluid situation. I am most concerned about reviewing or about our content on current product, especially, which is why I'm glad I have you on the show. Because right now, Holy Snokes is probably my most affected show because we're dealing with the most up-to-date current news on Star Wars, current movies that are coming out and everything else. That's
MID Classified just snuck under the
radar. That's right. We're done with Declassified for now, and that hopefully the strike will be done by the time. Well, it's like it has to be done by the time Dead Reckoning Part 2 comes out, considering they're not done yet. Exactly my point. But I mean, the other stuff I do in the channel so far, I have my Crown Jewels, which is my Queen podcast. That's musicians that have nothing to do with anything. I can do that free and willy. I have the Haristance, which was supposed to debut on the 27th. I'm feeling okay about that, especially considering I'm going back to 1970. I'm not even promoting the content. I'm promoting the man himself and talking about his specific role. It's his specific role and what he's done so far and all performances about that. So I feel pretty comfortable allowing that to continue. The other two would be question marks, honestly, would be review, which I do with Lego, and Tomato for White Dudes on Film, which I do with PJ. As of right now, I'm going to be continuing with those. Especially because they are so. I mean, V is pretty much a dead franchise right now. It's not supporting anything. And I know, depending on how you read it, some if you read the SAG rules, there's a way you can read it in terms of you can't talk about any movie ever because it's part of a Struck company or it's promoting a Struck company. But taking the fact that this is a pretty much dead franchise, it's an older franchise, it's not current. And what Greg Alba has that declared on Real Rejects, I feel comfortable enough for now going with review. Same thing for Two Beautiful White Dudes on Film at this point. PG and I basically do reviews on older franchises, and we're going to pivot to make sure. There's a lot of stuff we have been doing. We did like to build up to Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny. We did the build up to the Conjuring movies. I am going to pivot and make sure we don't cover anything that's being struck right now. If the movie comes out, I'm not going to cover that in Two Meter for White Dudes, just to be safe and just to be in solidarity. Because we support that's the main thing. We support 100% support the strike and the people on the ground who are trying to get a fair shake on things.
I was going to bring up to you, should we do a Holy Snokes and branch up and talk about the creator or talk about Rebel Moon or talk about Dune, but like those ideas, unfortunately, at the moment, we have to put them on the back burner because this is how these change. Unfortunately, this is how these changes get made, and a lot of people are going to be looking at these creators, looking at content creators and YouTubers, and be like, why do you care? Why do you care? Because without what they're fighting for, there is you don't get your favorite YouTubers, you don't get your movie reviews and everything without the art. I mean, the one point I was talking to a friend of mine who works in the tech part of the financial sector, and he was talking about how excited he's using they're going to use AI to automate all their processes. And like even then I was like, but isn't that going to put all your technicians out of a job? And he was just like, possibly, but we can just retrain them to be, AI technicians. What are we going to train every actor in Hollywood to be an AI engineer? Are we going to and think of it this way, put it into perspective of if it was your job that was being threatened to, we will take your likeness for one day and then we own your likeness forever and we will pay you for one day.
Yeah, that's
If that sounds right to you, if you can just wash that under the rug, go with whatever deity you believe in, my friend, because I wouldn't be able to sleep at night.
Yeah, no, I agree 100%. That's one of the biggest complaints I've seen from because SAG-AFTRA posted their demands and posted the response from the producers, the executives. I don't want to say, I keep forgetting to say it's the AMPTPA.
We just call them the producers.
Let's call them the producers. I'm just dumb. And it is amazing what they just outright rejected, like safety concerns, and like they get paid late, and like even like their response was, "Yeah, we know we paid late, and we're gonna keep paying late, so it's just not even worth discussing." It's like you shouldn't be able to do that. And then after someone like have Bob Iger come out, who's someone I've publicly supported for a long time. He was the good Bob, compared to Bob Chapek and everything else. And I still want to say, I want to say that in this current world, everything seems to be black or white. It's like there's no nuance to conversations anymore. There's no room for it's either good or you're bad. And like, what does that say? That's absolutes. What do we know about absolutes here on Holy Smokes? And
only my kind deal in absolutes, which is why I am that half of the conversation. But as I say, this ultimately is going to come down to a negotiation. Both sides are going to have what they want at the table,
right?
But then, unfortunately, the actors are probably not going to get everything they want. Right. The producers are probably not going to get everything they want. But that's the whole deal with. Absolutely, we hope not. But that's the whole deal with negotiation, and I think this has come down to, as we said at the start, it's become down to a larger issue in the world of the distribution of wealth.
Right.
So.
Well, I want to specifically going back to what I was saying about Bob Iger specifically. He's always been one of the good ones. He even made some comments that I'm going to reject and say I think they were poor comments to make.
Terrible timing as well to make them. It's just like the day of.
It was just ridiculous. He was saying it was disturbing. It's very disturbing to me. We've talked about disruptive forces on this business, the challenges we're facing, the recovery from COVID, which is ongoing. It's not completely back. This is the worst time in the world to add to that disruption. I understand any labor organization's desire to work on behalf of its members to get the most compensation, to be compensated fairly based on the value that they deliver. We managed as an industry to negotiate a very good deal with the Directors Guild that reflects the value that the directors contribute this great business. We wanted to do the same thing with the writers, and we'd like to do the same thing with the actors. There's a level of expectation that they have that is just not realistic, and they're adding to the set of challenges that this business is already facing that is quite frankly very disruptive. Bob, I don't even think this is, I honestly think what this was the producers putting forth their most visibly liked executive. Bob Iger's been kind of a positively viewed person. They're not going to put Zaslav out there.
Yeah, that's the thing. When they all together,
they were at a billionaires club meeting, basically. Which says it all.
I think you might be onto something there. I think they probably were like, one of us has got to bite the bullet, and
he's the one who
probably should have been. It probably should have been Zaslav because he's the one that people already don't like.
Right.
Let's just put it out there. People that don't like David Zaslav.
Right.
I'm personally not a fan of the guy.
Not either.
If there was someone that should have taken that bullet, should have been him.
Well, yeah, but that's the idea. Therefore, her idea is let's get the most likable guy out there. Maybe he'll turn some heads, or maybe they'll listen to him more because he's the likable guy. I think that was the goal. They've been very devious this entire time. The whole time, like one of the most devious things I can think of, and it makes sense, is that because I've heard a few things. First of all, since the writer's strike began, the producers have not had any. They've had no negotiations. Right? No negotiations. There's even a comment that I hate saying this because this is not speculation. This is all hearsay, but it was also leaked that some executives were saying the cold but necessary evil plan was to starve the writers out, make them lose their homes, make them lose their apartments before starting negotiations again. Make them back to the table.
I loved Ron Perlman's reply.
More than one way to lose the house. Ron Perlman for you guys. But beyond that,
yeah, I've seen Sons of Anarchy. I would not put it past Ron Perlman.
I don't either. Beyond that, they had the negotiation with the actors was supposedly going well-ish. Like there was reports of optimism, reports of whatever, and then they even had a delay. They kind of like extended the contract talks. They extended them for like 2 weeks because they thought they were going well, and SAG took them at their word that this was good faith negotiation and they're continuing the process. But then they never negotiated again, or they never showed up and never did anything further negotiating. And it was been considered now, as SAG feels that now basically the producers were buying themselves 2 more weeks to promote their summer movies. And that makes all the sense in the world to me that this is what's going on, because they just bought themselves a little extra time. They did nothing with it. So what else did they get about it? They got the actors to be able to promote for 2 more weeks while they did nothing. It's bad faith. It's just bad faith altogether.
Yeah.
Especially with the executives.
Bad faith. That's. Ugh.
If you listen to Dan Murrell's video or watch Dan Murrell's video, I really, really I could mention it 3 times. I know already. I'll mention it again because he goes into an impassioned plea at the end, and it struck a chord. The idea is the producers are the one who caused the disruptive nature they're in. It was the producers who, I mean, obviously COVID isn't something they could predict or deal with. But as far as putting all their money in the streaming services, when people said it might not be as productive as you think it is, splitting forth the money on all sorts of other things, and they were the ones to put this disruptive nature in place. And then they're basically saying, okay, actors, you gotta basically clean up my mess. At this point, it's like, and actors and writers are basically saying, what constitutes an emergency by you is an emergency by me. It's not like how it works. So I have very little love for the producers at this point.
That's just like clicked in my brain that like over here at the minute we got this whole thing with how the government spent a load of money on faulty and crappy cheap PPE during the pandemic. Like they spent billions and billions and billions of money on this PPE and this medical equipment that was not fit for purpose. That is now, it's been paid for with taxpayers' money, and it's sitting in warehouses. And now they're saying to like junior doctors and nurses, like, we're not going to give you a pay rise because we have to pay for this. We have to pay for our mistake. It's, you can't think of a more perfect analogy of it being like, this right now is a bigger issue than just your favorite TV shows or your favorite movies getting canceled or pushed back.
100%. And we don't know how long it's going to last. I've heard talk that it's going to last quite a while. I mean, I've heard the only date I've even heard thrown out there is potentially as late as October. And that means no new movies, no new TV shows. It's all going to be reality stuff, and it's going to be bullshit. And
okay, more seasons of the fucking Kardashian.
Yeah, it's all going to be stuff. And like, that's not the worst of it. That's obviously not the worst of it. But that is a side effect as well. Some streamers, the most, and actually, to be honest with you, it's going to hurt the studios doing it. I don't think they even see it yet. A few of the biggest studios probably have banked a few things to last for a little while, but like at the same time, it's going to start running out. And when does that come due?
I mean, I saw something the other day that CBS is going to be airing Yellowstone in late August, and it's just like, how long has that show been done for now?
Well, that's what it is. They can do that though. I bet you $5 we're going to see Star Wars come on ABC a little bit.
Are we going to see cable TV make a return?
Potentially.
All those people that like unplug cable TV, like
potentially.
Holy shit!
I mean, maybe, I don't know. I think the streaming services are probably, the smaller streaming services, I gotta feel like it'd be the ones to go first. Like got the Netflix's kind of gonna be able to weather it for a bit. Disney Plus should be able to weather it for a bit, but like, I don't know, man. Start talking about like Peacock, Shudder, Paramount Plus. I mean, they're still pretty big overall, but like, I don't know what's gonna happen.
Bring back Blockbuster. I've been saying this for years. Are we finally going to get Blockbuster back?
No, we're still not going to get any new movies to watch it, though. That's the problem. But no, the real problem, I shouldn't say that, because the real problem is the writers and actors getting their due and getting their basically making a living. But bringing this back around town, I don't want to get too much further into the actual strike, because again, I'm not an informed. I mean, I'm informed as far as watching some videos, but I'm not an expert at all, and I don't want to spread out any false rumors or thoughts. I can just say my opinion based on what I have heard or read or whatever. But as far as the channel goes, moving forward, I'm going to continue review. I'm going to continue Crown Jewels and continue Two Mediocre White Dudes on Film. I want to continue Holy Snokes in some way, shape, or form. I am not going to pull a Force Center at this point. I see like it's a bad thing. I'm not going to, but I'm not going to say
I know what you mean. You're
specifically.
not gonna like. We don't have as much skin in the game as Jennifer
Right.
and Joseph and Ken do.
So I'm
So
not going to
we're
say,
lucky we can talk about it. But unfortunately, there are creators out there that are part of SAG.
right. And they're a little more worried because, and the main problem is it is not clear. I wish and I hope that somebody can come forth and say this is what you can or cannot do as a content creator. And obviously,
SAG, let us know.
yeah, and because we want to help and we want to make sure we want to continue doing what we're doing. We love this. We do this because we love it. We're not getting paid really. All the money I make on Patreon goes right back into the channel, basically. So like I want to be able to just continue doing what I love and sharing my love of the art that we all have, that you guys have all made and we've all invested with the people I enjoy interacting with. But at the same time, I want to show solidarity and do everything I can do also as well. So I just want to know what the rules are, what's going to help you out, what can we do? So if somebody can come with a clear statement, that'd be the best thing for us. I mean, I've heard some people doing that. Greg Alba did that. It seems right, but I want to let that cook for a bit before I make any determinations on definitively what we're going to do. So I want to say for now, I'm not definitively saying we're not going to review Ahsoka when it comes out. I'm going to touch it. We're going to on touch and go level. There's a chance we're not going to. Are we going to talk any news next week on Holy Snokes? Are we just going to put Holy Snokes on pause for a couple of weeks until we figure it out? Maybe. And I would hate to do that because it's been a long time since we talked about Star Wars anyway. But that's the one, again, in Stuck More. And if I hear from people, if I hear from SAG or anything that doing anything is bad, then I will pause review and I will pause Two Mediocre White Dudes on Film. I'm just going with what I understand now. And all I can ask for my viewers and for people who are stumbling onto this channel maybe for the first time, a little patience and maybe a little not forgiveness, but like a little
compassion,
understanding. Because I am saying point blank is I want to help. I want to do this. I just want to be able to know what I'm doing. If I want to make sure what I'm doing is the right thing to do and it matters. And it's because if I'm just canceling my stuff because I might be doing something wrong and I didn't have to, then that's not fair to my viewers and it's not fair to anybody else as well. I just want to make sure we're all on the same page and we're all struggling to find what exactly that page is. I think we've all gotten the book. We're all kind of skimming now to find the proper passage that tells exactly what to do.
Just the words are a little long right now. You need, I need the abridged version. You speak in all these. Yeah, I need. Just give me the blurb. Give me the blurb at the back.
Exactly. So that's where we're going to end it today. I'm just going to say again, I made it crystal clear. I hope I don't come off in any way, shape, or form as being against. I'm definitely pro strike in any way, shape, or form. And if that means shutting down completely, that's exactly what I will do. I don't think it should. I don't think it will. So stick with me.
We'll just all do Crown Jewels.
Yeah, definitely. I'll definitely just do Crown Jewels. I'll be a Crown Jewels podcast the entire time. But either way, again, the main thing I have to end off with is that this is all fluid. This could change tomorrow. We might record something tomorrow and say, hey, we're back on, or hey, time to shut down. But yeah, be kind to each other. The last thing we need, we are all on the same page for the most part, as far as I can tell. Like everybody in our space generally is all on the same page. They want to do the right thing. We all support the writers. We all support the actors. We want this to get done. We want to make it fair. We hope that this gets solved soon. Whether or not that does or not, we don't know. Of course, we're all working on the same page. So let's not attack each other. Let's not get each other down. If we find out something's wrong, calmly talk to somebody. Hey, I think this is not supposed to happen. Let's try to figure this out.
Ask, conversate. This is the whole point of like we've kind of gone away, and it's a result of the last few years. Unfortunately, we've gone away from the art of conversation and actually like posing questions without like attacking people. I will say this will be my kind of final point. There is the Entertainment Community Fund, which people usually Google. You can look it up. People can donate to that and to help out with people that are associated with SAG that maybe need a little bit of extra financial help. Because the one thing that I've noticed from people, a lot of my friends are not. I'm probably like one of a few that's like follows the film space, and a lot of them are like, oh, this is Tom Cruise and George Clooney, like this is the rich trying to get richer. No, there are a lot of people out there who are working actors who are trying to become part of that upper tier. They just want to like get paid and have a healthy living doing something that they love to do. But like most of them are working 2, 3, even 4 jobs while trying to act at the same time. So this isn't just about the upper echelon. This is also about, you know, the people that are trying to make it. So they need help as much as it can be given. So yeah, the Entertainment Community Fund, use your Googles, look it up. And if you can, I'm not saying you have to, but if you can, that is one way that you can support.
Alrighty, that's going to be it for now. Again, I'm hoping that the next update I get to do is the strike is over, we're back, and business as usual for us, and the writers and writers and actors are getting the fairest of settlements. That's the hope. So until then, hopefully you stick around, hit that subscribe, and when we are full on back again, you'll like that. I will have an update again. I have another something in the works for the channel. Which could be a very great opportunity for us and the channel. Maybe get some more eyes on the space, so to speak, potentially. Working with someone I've worked with before. So that's the only thing I'll say.
I've personally never worked with, but from what you've told me, this is a very good opportunity for the channel.
So I'll leave it like that. It's a little bit of a tease. Stay tuned and keep up the good work, everybody who's striking. If you are in Los Angeles, help your strikers out any way I don't know what the idea is, but try to help them out as best you can. SAG-AFTRA on strike, WGA Writers Guild on strike. We support you here. Good luck, everybody. We're all counting on you. Take care.